Shabbat Shalom, brothers and sisters. Welcome back. I thank you again for joining me today. Today I want to do a book review, and this is close to home, being a former member of the Latter-day Saints and everything. Of course, you got the Book of Mormon right here. Well, anyways, there's a book right here I highly recommend for Mormons, non-Mormons, or historians, or whoever. But this book is called Joseph Smith, Rough Stone Rolling, and it's by Richard Lyman Bushman. And the book right here, I don't have the cover. I mean, the dust cover where it has the face or anything on it or whatever. This came from a library. I got it real cheap and everything. But this book, oh boy, this book. I love history. And I love, studying religion, of course. Besides, I got my own religious beliefs, of course. But this book is like, roughly 740 pages, and it's got some photos in it, of course. I can show you a photo here of what they call the prophet Joseph Smith, and there's other photos in here, of course, but it's rich. This is rich in history. This stuff comes from archives, historical records, and everything from Utah, the Latter-day Saints, and he did a real good job. And let me explain something about this book here. Okay, Mr. Bushman. I seen him on a lecture on YouTube. He's on YouTube. He did a lecture about this book, and he said his point of view. He's a Latter-day Saint. He's a Latter-day Saint, but he didn't want to be biased towards his faith. But then again, he don't want to go against it. What he's trying to do here is what you call a psychoanalyzing him. What was in his mind? Was he a real prophet? Was he bipolar? Was he OCD? I mean, was he a fraud? But he does a good thing here, and like I said, when I saw his lecture, he got it off of a man named Eric Erickson, who did the same thing with Martin Luther, the reformer. He wanted to get inside his mind and also add history. He don't want to be, but like with Mr. Bushman, like I said, he didn't want to be biased. He didn't want, he just wanted to do an open thing, and it opened my mind because, like I said, being a former member, got out of the church and everything, it blew my mind reading this stuff. I mean, and this book come out, published, I think it was 2012. Hold on for a minute. I think copyright is 2012. No, 2005. I'm sorry. I'm reading another book right now, and I think I got my wires crossed right there. But yes, 2005, and right here in the back here, I thought there was a note to the author back there and note to the type. I thought they did maybe it's on the sleeves. Like I said, this came from a library. See, this came from a library I got offline, and it didn't come with the sleeve with the cover. If it was a face, and on the back it would have his credentials, and it'd have like reviews from whatever newspaper. But anyways, this book, when I was a Mormon, I didn't know a lot about this stuff. I heard a couple things here and there, and after I got out, I heard a couple other things here and there, but I didn't want to revisit it. But of course, certain things come up, sisters former Mormon sisters and everything want to talk about it and said, hey, you got to do a video about this. So I read the book, checked it out, did some research. I got another book, Fonnie Brody. I'm going to check that book out, and there's another one I'm going to check out, and I'm going to do the same thing here, but, you'd be interested about this book. It's full of weird polygamy, all kinds of weird stuff. I mean, you have to get in the mindset of back in, what was it, the 18th century? You got to get back there where, we just became a nation, and a craving of scriptures and whatever. Scriptures and truth, spiritual truth, yeah. But, they say, a lot of people's like, nope, churches ain't doing it. The Protestants ain't doing it. We got to branch out. And that's why now we got the Mormons, we got Seventh-day Adventists, Christian Science, Jehovah's Witnesses, few others out there. They all just sprung up because of the religious freedom. But anyways, I got the Doctrine and Covenants. Well, this is when I was doing missionary. This is what we call a triple here. Now, here in section 32 of Doctrine and Covenants, let me read this. Revelation given through Joseph Smith, the prophet, at Nauvoo, Illinois, recorded July 12th, 1843, relating to the new and everlasting covenant, including the eternity of the marriage covenant, as also plurality of wives. HC 5C 501 through 507. Although the revelation was recorded in 1843, it is evident from the historical records that the doctrines and principles involved in this revelation had been known by the prophet since 1831. Now, if we talk about that, 1831, that's when Joseph's first plural wife, housemaid, a 14, 15, 16-year-old girl, Fanny Alger, was in there, and he kept hitting on her all the time until she succumbed to it. He said, I'm a prophet of God, and I'm going to give you my seed and stuff like that. But then later on, he had this little ank, is what I'd call it, with all the women, where he's, start chasing them around and saying, if you don't marry me, the angel of the Lord's going to strike me down with a flaming sword. He's right there. You got to save my life. I am a prophet, and I need to do this. Oh, what a winner. What a winner. But a lot of women went through it, and Emma, his first wife, she didn't like it a lot. She, rumors is, if you read this book, like I said, this book, Rough Stone Rolling, if you read this book, talks about things where she might have, Emma might have, knocked the crap out of a couple of the girls, and Joseph's running away and doing this and that. But, that's the plural thing, marriage, but that's, not the main theme, but that just sticks out in my mind in the book. But there's other books, about how he was nobody, and then he rose up and he started building cities and towns and whatever, churches. He's building everything, and everybody's working like in what I'd say, a socialistic communal thing where, share the wealth, stuff like that, bring everybody in. And what happened was, like in Missouri, when it came to Missouri, Mormons started flooding the state, which, politically speaking, what happened was the people there was like, no, we got a political block here, and we can't have that. Plus, they didn't know about, I don't think they knew about polygamy until later when Joseph went to Nauvoo in Illinois, and once he got everybody there, he started doing, being an emperor, like, kind of like I'm king and everything, and he started getting his power. Once he took everybody and put them right here, secluded them from family, friends, everybody out west at the time, the Wild West. He was able to really dig in. But anyways, like I said, this book right here by Richard Lehman Bush. Check this book out. I got this. Actually, you know what? My daughter got me this book. I don't know where she got it, but I was like, yeah. She asked, what do you want, Dad? It's like, if you want to give me something, give me this book. I was like, but give me a used book, cheap one. And she got this, and I read it, and I outlined stuff. I highlighted stuff. I did whatever, and boy, wish I could read this thing to you. But there's another book, like I said, Fonnie Brody. I'm gonna check that out too and see what's going on there. But anyways, like I said, I was a former member of the church, and I gave up on it. I think the Holy Spirit told me. The Holy Spirit said this ain't the right thing. I don't know, but anyways, that's all I want to say about that book. Get it if you're interested. If you're an ex-Mormon, a Mormon, and I also I'm trying to think of the two girls. There's two girls on YouTube that what were their names? Alyssa Grenfield and Lindsay Hanson Parker. Lindsay Hanson Parker. Lindsay with a Y after the L. Alyssa. If I can, I'll put it in the description box for you to check it out. But yeah, check that book out and everything, and let me know what you think about it. It's just bringing things, reading that book. I was like, whoa. I didn't know a lot about this stuff, and especially at the end. I don't want to, no spoiler alerts, but at the end, he's really honest about the shootout, what you'd call the martyr of Joseph and Hiram Smith. It's very interesting because a lot of people say they were just completely innocent victims and they were defenseless, is what I'd say. But, well, just read that and let me know if you've read this book. If you've read this book, let me know. And if you're interested, then you read it, let me know. But anyways, that's all I have to say right now. And thank you very much for joining me. And as always, peace out and shalom.